I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all are doing well. Good day, everybody. Today we are talking about spells and hoodoos, or love and voodoo, love and hoodoo. Not voodoo, but love and hoodoo. Um, so hoodoo love um is something to be talked about. A lot of people have started talking about hoodoo again, and I'm gonna be tackling different topics when it comes to hoodoo. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Any and everything can be a bad thing. It's just how you look at it and what you're using it for. So, hoodoo spells or hoodoo love, magic potions, whatever you want to call it, a root work, it can be used to draw new love in, get rid of an old love, bring back a wandering partner, and strengthening existing relationships. I have not seen the movie Sinners, but there has been heavy reference to the young lady that was dating one of the twins, using hoodoo to protect her love and to keep him and to bring him back home. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Um, but yeah, so, a few of the things that I have heard, I have never done any of these things. These are just things that I have heard. I've never been moved to do any of these things. I just didn't see the point, but it is a thing, and it went on around me. Burying someone's underwear is something that is said to keep that person stationary, keep that person coming home. Putting their shoes under your bed. Also, putting uh, blood in their food. And this is why in Gullah Geechee culture in certain parts of the South, you will hear people tell men, young men, any man, don't eat from anybody, and especially if that food is red in nature, you know. But other things that can take part in these types of things are a person's hair, their picture, their fingernails, anything that has an essence of that person. So just be careful about that, because these things still go on today, believe it or not. And that's why you have to be careful about where you leave your things, especially things that come from your body. And one of those main things would be your what you let go of when you have a release with a woman. You want to be careful about that and who you share that with as well. Hi, James, how are you? But getting back to that part I said I was going to come back to, and that a lot of women actually use this as a protective measure. You could see this a whole lot in the South in during slavery times, and things like Jim Crow and those eras where it was really a really harsh environment and women wanted to protect their men. So, hoodoo potions and things like that and spells were usually done to make sure that the man returns home. It was done for his safety. All right. And so that stemmed from slavery, and then you have all of these racist eras that black people went through. You have periods of war when black men were sent to war as well. And those are just some of the times where it was used as far as a protection measure. All right, not necessarily to keep someone with you, but just to ensure the safety of that person and to ensure that their life continued. All right, let's see. Try to go ahead and explain what you wanted to ask Transcendent Mind X, and I'll try to answer it. Just make sure it's respectful. Hi, VCB, how are you today? But yeah, there are other things that can be used as well, as far as herbs and oils to attract a partner or rekindle a relationship and stuff like that. Now, and like I said, I've never done any of these things. I've just never seen the point, and I just don't agree with doing certain things to people when they are not aware and they're not in agreement, because something very important when it comes to hoodoo is being in consent. And I have always been a big believer when you do things like that, how it's going to return to you, because everything has a return factor to it. It doesn't, it just doesn't give you a definitive time of when it's going to return or how it's going to return. So when you're doing stuff like that, just always make sure that your intentions are good, because like I said, I don't necessarily think that hoodoo or voodoo are necessarily bad. I think it's the intentions of people, just like any other religion, or Christianity, or Judaism, or people that are of the Muslim faith or anything like that. Any and all things can be bad and evil depending on how people are using them and how extreme they're being with things. So in any essence, you have to be careful with any and everything that you're doing. But yeah, that's basically it for that, for Hoodoo and Love, as far as I'm concerned. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit today. Okay, cool. Thank you, VCB. I really appreciate you coming in on the live. You said, oh, wait, but if you have a question about what I'm saying, please leave it before I end the live. I'll try to answer it as best as I can. And Transcend It, don't forget to put your question in there before I leave the live. I'm going to try to answer it for you. But yeah, that's just my little tidbit there on hoodoo and love and magic, or root work, or whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I grew up around this stuff. A lot of it didn't really resonate with me until I got older and I understood what was going on. But it was just like second nature, seeing people walking around with little, tincture bags or little bags and stuff like that, and doing certain things and certain practices, and drinking certain things, using certain oils and in mixtures and things like that. But it was never anything, I never saw anything necessarily done to anybody to be evil in nature. It was usually for protection. But yeah, that's the end of this particular live. I want to thank you all for joining me today. And if you're coming and watching this after this live ends, please leave your questions, comments, and concerns. You all be blessed.